This is Harry Payton, the host of the Irvington Now Show. Today, I've been honored to have as my guest Irvington Fire Department Chief Antonio Gary, and he's provided some great information. We've discovered that he now holds the designation of the first African American to hold the title of Chief in the township of Irvington. But we have some other information that I'd like to get from Chief Gary. Can you discuss the importance of families performing practice fire drills with loved ones and other frequent overnight visitors to their homes and apartments?
Well, when you talk about home safety, there's several variables that you need to think about. I can't stress the importance of taking time to ensure that your family knows what to do in the event of an emergency. You know, a lot of times people think that, oh, it's an emergency, we'll act normal. I'll be the first person to tell you who's in this profession. When there's an emergency, people are erratic. They don't know how to act. You know, we're creatures of habit, so if you're used to going out one door, rest assured if there's an emergency, despite the fact that the hazard may be right at the door, you're going to try to go that way. So when you talk about home safety, you want to look at making a map of your home. You know, your kids probably come home, I don't know if the schools are still doing it, but it's called EDIF, Operation EDIF, Exit Drills at Home, all right? It's real simple. You make a map of your home, you show what the exit routes are, you show what the options are in terms of if doors are blocked, you go out windows, all right? You have a safe meeting place. Usually that's the adjacent home or a house across the street. You ensure that everybody is there, and then you call 911 so that the fire department can come back. The important thing that you need to be mindful of, never ever do you go back into the house once you leave the house and it's on fire. Fire travels and moves so fast that you're putting yourself in grave danger if you were to go back into the house, whether it's for a pet or whether it's for some type of item. You know, it's interesting people say pets. I'll be the first to tell you that if there's a fire, that pet will find its way out before you will, especially if the dog or the cat is not caged. They're going to be outside. So you'll go back in and you'll put yourself in danger. Some other things that you need to think about is your smoke detectors. All right. As you know, October is National Fire Prevention Month, and that's right around the corner. Where a lot of people are still under the old thought that you know, you go in and you change your batteries and your smoke detectors. If you have the older smoke detectors, yes, definitely make October, as well as when you change your times on the clocks, you change your batteries. But technology has changed. As I said, in the fire service, everything changes. So usually the smoke detectors that you purchase now, they're usually rated at 10 years before most manufacturers recommend that you swap them out. And then they have a hard battery installed where you don't change the batteries. So now you just have to do your weekly or monthly tests to make sure that it's functioning. And then every 10 years, based on whatever the manufacturer says, you should replace the smoke detector. You know, so those are some things that you really need to think about. Additionally, go over how to utilize 911. A lot of times people don't know how to use 911, and you know, especially when we're talking about kids. And when you're talking to the kids, you have to explain to them the importance of not playing with 911, because if you have all these apparatus responding to a fake address or a fake report, a malicious report of some incident, and we get there and there's nothing there, but on the other side of town there's an incident, a real incident. It just, you know, adds to delay in time, and obviously with time, you know, that puts people at risk, as well as not to talk about the risk of motor vehicle accidents when we're responding in these large pieces of apparatus. So those are some things that you need to think about for home safety.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, my profession is a housing inspector, so you know, again, a lot of that I learned as part of the profession, and I know that it's staggering the number of people who end up getting hurt or even killed for returning. As you said, don't
Absolutely.
return, and the person or animal that they're going back to get is already outside.
Correct.
So it's a double-edged sword. Don't return in spite of your trepidations, thinking that your loved one is in some danger. Secure yourself, and then, you know, the fire department, that's you guys' job to secure other people.
Let me also add that if you have any type of questions about fire safety, you can go to the United States Fire Administration website. Just Google search United States Fire Administration, and there's a tab on there for prevention and training. If you click on that link, there are all type of videos that you can sit down with the family, and they can give you some other pointers and also show you how to fine tune some of the strategies that I said that I recommend that you should put in place to keep your family safe. United States Fire Administration. Just do a Google search for them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Please do that. Again, now with technology, I didn't even know that. I still go from the books. You know, I share with my children are all grown. I shared it with them when they were little, but now I do the same with my grandchildren. You know, sit down and talk about what, you know, and then I start asking them, what would you do? You know, so that way they're prepared. And I do get a lot of training at school, but you know, also I make sure to try to do the home type thing. So please go to that website. One more time. I know you've given it more than once, but give it one more time for that person that wasn't listening. Why weren't you listening?
All right, I'm not exactly sure of the URL, but it's the United States Fire Administration. If you do a search, you go to their homepage. They have all different type of buttons that you can click. Specifically, you're looking for fire prevention and training. And under that area, you'll see EDIF drills. You'll see different strategies and techniques and recommendations that you should incorporate in the safety of your home and your family.
Thank you, thank you. Now, some in our audience may not know that aside from, you know, the general fire duties and, you know, the admirable job that you do, because again, we all know, those of us that, you know, have been around, you guys get cats out of trees and, you know, in the wintertime, dig out cars and dig out fire hydrants. But you guys are involved in a great many non-firefighting events in our community. Can you share some of that involvement?
Well, you know, the fire department is a staple in the community. All right, we're very civic minded and oriented, as I said. You know, it's important to point out some of the things that we do that you may not be familiar with. Like, for instance, one of our firefighters started the Irvington breast cancer walk. This started like maybe 7 years ago. We've been going strong with that. He puts a lot of time and effort into it, and we have a lot of participation from firefighters walking through the town, you know, making donations to the National Cancer Society. That's a beautiful initiative that the firefighter put in place. In addition to that, we also participate in National Night Out. You know, this year we've been participating in National Night Out forever, but this year particularly, we've had some extra inserts from the fire department. Many people don't know. If you were there, you know, it was a great evening, all right? But as I said before, we have a lot of entrepreneurs within the fire department. So at National Night Out, we had the fun bus there, which was Danny Cruz, firefighter. We had a kettle corn firefighter there. He has a business giving out free popcorn to the community. Additionally, we have a sergeant who's also a firefighter with the National Guards. They brought this humongous bungee toy for the kids that was set up in a park right across from Irvington Center. So we're always doing things for the community, and sometimes things are overlooked. But I think the firefighters understand that, you know, we're here for the community. In addition to that, we do block parties, all right? We're constantly answering questions. We do first aid, even though we're not certified as a first responder, if you will. I'm sorry, let me correct that. We are certified as first responders, but we go above and beyond in terms of trying to give first aid until the ambulance responds. We do things such as car seat installations. As many times people have babies, they buy these car seats and they don't know how to utilize their car seats, so they'll come by the fire department and ask for some assistance. Another huge initiative that we do, this is a partnership that we have with the Red Cross. We actually do smoke detector installs. What happens there with the administration, and like I said, a collaborative effort with the Red Cross, we pick a zone, and we go to that zone, the firemen come in and volunteer, along with the Red Cross and their canvassers. We go out and we install. All that's required is you sign a waiver, and we put the smoke detector up in your house. We do so many community things that, you know, it's so many to be named, you know, but the important things are the ones that I pointed out. And we have huge involvement in it. We've always had involvement in it, and we will continue to have involvement in, you know, the various things.
Right, beautiful. And again, that's quite an extensive list. Many that I didn't know about. I knew that the kettle corn line was just too long for me to stand. I was looking, I said, oh, I want one of those, but I mean, it was so well received. The fun bus was well received, and those are, like you said, firefighters that are giving their businesses and giving back to the
They're
town.
giving back to the community, and I want them to understand, the firemen, that I appreciate all their efforts, and I hope that they continue to do the things that they do, because when it's all said, it's about the community. You know, it takes a village to raise a child. So we're doing these positive things, and we're taking our time out to help. The public really appreciates everything that we do, and I appreciate it, and I ask that you continue doing what you do.
Yes. Let me tell you one that that'll make you laugh. As I said, I have children now in their 30s. I started having children when I was a young man, very young man, like 8 or 9. I'm just joking. I never want to talk about how old I am. I didn't. I had my children in my 20s.
Yeah.
But they're in their 30s and older, you know. Now, I still have pictures of them, which they hate me because I before these cameras, I used to take manual pictures, but I still have them in front of, not ladder, but fire engine 43.
Oh,
with the Santa Claus and the giveaway that you guys do, to give away the little stocking and everything.
Well, I mean, that's something that I neglected to mention. Of course, we do Santa Claus every year.
Yes, every
we help
year.
with the INIC and pass out the toys and stuff. We go to St. Barnabas and we participate in the St. Barnabas toy drive. We have members that go to the burn camp up in, I believe it's in Connecticut or New York. It's so many different community events that we do that it's too many to name.
Right.
But we're all community. All right, and I want my firefighters to know that I appreciate that.
And that's good, because our audience didn't know it. I'm the host. I didn't know all that.
Yeah.
I see you guys at the Irvington events and like that. But many of them, you guys do it unheralded. And by that I mean, it's not like guess what we did last week? We
Correct.
did, you just do it, and you guys have done it for so many years. And the reason I pointed that out is because now my grandchildren are too old to sit with Santa.
Okay.
But my children went through, my grandchildren went through, and very possibly their children, my great-grandchildren, will one day come back to the, keep saying ladder, but 43. I don't have to be engine 43.
Engine, ladder, doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, and even if they don't come by the firehouse, we also go to the daycare centers and we do presentations. So we're out there, we're out there doing a lot of different things. We set sprinklers up, especially with this crazy hot weather that we be having, because it's hard to get the kids to the swimming pool. So there's a lot of different initiatives that we do for the community. And like I said, the community appreciates it. At least all the information I've received, I know they appreciate it.
Yes, we do. We certainly do. Thank you very much, and thank all the firefighters again for the things that you guys are doing. Now, it may sound strange because it's very humid. It was humid last weekend. It's probably humid again today. But summer will soon give way to fall and winter. What are some fire prevention tips that you could share with our audience, especially during the 2 seasons I mentioned, fall and winter?
Well, the first thing I would say is, right now you should be checking your boilers, your furnaces. You should have them serviced. See, what happens is, people wait until it gets really cold and then they just fire up the boiler or furnace, if you will. You have all type of issues, whether it's with the flue or just the unit itself malfunctioning. You should always have a service. That's something that public service, electric and gas, they provide, as well as whichever oil company you use, and they could come out. Or you can just reach out to a general plumber and let them come out and service your boiler. That's a huge thing, instead of waiting for it to get really cold and firing up, because you run into all type of hazard situations that could potentially cause a fire. Some other things that you obviously need to think about is extension cords. In the wintertime, everyone overloads extension cords with heaters and everything else. Extension cords aren't rated for that. If you overheat the extension cord, eventually it's going to catch fire, and then it's going to lead to the appliance as well as going to the walls, and it just creates a very hazardous situation. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations. If they say no extension cords, no extension cords. Sometimes people have their power turned off and they'll run extension cords from other apartments and things of that sort. You could get electrocuted, you could get burned. These things are very hazardous, and I ask that you stay away from those type of things. The other thing that you need to be mindful of is candles. The fire department hates candles. I personally hate candles. My family will tell you, even as a fire chief, I hate candles because it's so easy for these things to get knocked over or to catch something that's in the area on fire. So stay away from candles if you can. Lastly, the only thing that I would recommend is that you be mindful of where you place your electric heaters. The newer ones are designed that they tip over or they get to a certain temperature, they'll cut off. But the older ones, they just keep going. In fact, as a child, I had a fire in my house because a pillow fell off the bed onto an electric heater. It was a very scary situation. So those type of things, you want to think about the placement and how you utilizing it. And you should never have a heater plugged in that's unsupervised by an adult. Never rely on the child to monitor that. Those are some small pointers that you should really, take heed of. In addition to going to that website, United States Fire Administration, so that you too could see some other, pointers on home safety, especially with the winter months coming. Shovel hydrants if you can. We're going to try to get to them as we do. But if you have a hydrant in front of your house, adopt a hydrant and take care of it for us. That would be a very helpful for us. So that if there is a fire at your house, we know where the hydrants are.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for those tips. And again, it happens every year, so get ready, be prepared. I was a Boy Scout, and that was our motto, be prepared. So winter certainly will come. The other thing that I know that I've experienced is that I had an occasion to come to the fire department, and there is a table. So as you come through the hall with many brochures and different fire prevention, fire safety type tips that are sitting right there. So certainly if a person ever has to visit the fire department, they also, aside from the website, will be able to collect a bunch of information that's vital to preventing or dealing with fires.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, in this day and age, everyone doesn't have a computer. All right, the firehouse is your house. All right, especially if you need me, I'm at fire headquarters, which is right here next to the police department at 1 Civic Square. You are more than welcome to come to the fire department and ask any question that you may have. One member or myself or whoever, we're more than happy to have discussions and give you the proper information that you may have. Because, let's face it, everybody doesn't have a computer, so they don't have the ability to go to the United States Fire Administration. But information is readily available. You can go to any of the 3 firehouses that we have, and the people there will be able to assist you, or the members there will be able to assist you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that vital information, and I know you've covered a lot of great information. Before we come to an end, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience?
In closing, I guess I would just like to say to the Irvington residents, I'm honored to serve you as the chief of the department. It's a very historical moment. It gives our youth the ability to have some type of pride in themselves. When they look in the mirror, they should see me. They should see themselves because I am them. So look in the mirror and see yourselves. The other thing that we need to be mindful of, that we're very community oriented. Fire department has some growing pains, especially under the new umbrella of public safety. And there's a lot of changes that are going on. Changes for the good. For the members of my department, I want you to know that I support you completely and I appreciate all the hard work that you're doing. The administration is behind the fire department. We're making initiatives to bring the manning up to the proper number, as well as provide equipment and training that's well overdue. As far as the changes, I want you to embrace them. I want you to have patience. As you know, there have been things that have been going on, for far too long that prompted me to want to be a fire officer, because I don't want people to be mistreated, or I didn't like some of the policies that were in place. So as a fire chief, I want you to know that I'm here for you and I'm here for the community. Collectively, we could have one of the premier fire departments in the country.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I probably am arguably saying that I know we do have one of the finest departments, and that's okay. I have a son-in-law who works for Newark. I'm still saying it. Irvington is the finest.
Well, if he works for Newark, he already knows. Okay. Our little department is a very aggressive department. We get the job done. He already knows that.
He already knows that. That's right. That's right. So thank you very much for sharing this great information and for being the first guest on the show. It is not through happenstance that you are the first guest. I chose you as the first guest because it is historic. You are a person that I've known, and throughout at least last year I've gotten to know you, and you know, like I said, you always represent well. You look fantastic in the white. You know, it's such a great look, and you're doing a great job. You're in the fire department, so thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
And look forward to possibly having you again in the future. Citizens, continue to support the men and women of the police and fire department, the dynamic job that they do, because again, I'm honest again, I don't want their jobs, you know, because their jobs have a certain amount of danger, but they take their jobs on and they do it day after day, and thank them. If you see them walking down the street, just say thank you, because I'm certain that they would appreciate it. I'd like to thank the Honorable Mayor Tony Voss for giving me this venue to highlight great people such as Chief Gary, and we look forward to doing great things this year in the second year of the Irvington Now Show. So again, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.